So, why do I love A&E? Well, I love A&E because I love people. It's about people. It's about talking to people and seeing people. But for me, most importantly, it's about a puzzle. I love the puzzle of working out what's the matter with you. That's what's great about my job. You come to me, I can do any test I've got available, and I have a lot of tests I can do on you to work out what the matter is. And then I send you to the person that can fix you, be that the cardiologist if you have a heart attack, be that the general surgeon if you've got appendicitis, or anything else in between. And we see some weird and wonderful stuff, and it's really, really fun trying to work out what's the matter with somebody when they come to you. I also love the fact that we're a team, and I get to see people and work with people all the time, and I have a good laugh at work with friends of mine and work colleagues, and we have great fun actually. It's a really, really close-knit team, like a bunch of friends that I see at work every day. And every day is different friends because we shift work. And shift working, everyone thinks is a bad thing. It's really not. Shift working is great. I get loads of time off. I get to see my friends. I get to see my children. I get to take them to school. I get to go to the shops when they're open. Shift working is brilliant. What's the worst injury I've seen? I've seen a lot of things. I've seen bits of limbs chopped off. I've seen fingers and toes and hands. I've seen broken noses. I've seen a guy who was stabbed with a samurai sword that still had the sword sticking out of him. That was pretty interesting. I've seen a guy with his throat cut open, so much so I could see down and see the air coming out of his throat when he breathed. That was quite scary, but actually really, really interesting. Yeah, I've seen loads of injuries. I've seen people's skulls cracked open. I've seen brain coming out of it. And so if any of you cycle, always wear a helmet. It's stupid if you don't. And yeah, loads of interesting stuff. Who else do I work with in A&E? Well, loads of people actually. A&E is such a massive team. So I'm one of the consultants, and so I have junior doctors under me and registrars. I also have consultant colleagues I work with. I have other specialties. So they all come down to A&E because that's where all the patients come to. So I see surgeons and stroke consultants, anaesthetists, intensive care doctors. I see paediatricians. I also work with nurses, loads of nurses. So some general nurses, some A&E nurses, some specialist nurses. I also work with healthcares, with porters, with domestics, with radiographers, with radiologists, with physios, with occupational therapists, and with psychiatric services too. So loads and loads of people, we all work together. We're all one big team, we're all one big family, and you need all of us, or we couldn't do our job properly. How much do consultants get paid? It's all about the money. When you start as a consultant, you start on ACE 2000. And it doesn't matter what consultant you are, if you're an A&E consultant, a plastic surgeon, a brain surgeon, or a skin doctor, or a GP. No, GPs are different. Any hospital doctor anyway, all the same, all ACE 2000. And when you start, and once you've been there for about 20 years, you can work your way up to about 110,000. There are bonuses you can get at work, not very easily, not very commonly. You have to work really hard and do exceptional work, and then you can get a little bonus 1 year, but effectively it's the same for everybody all around the country. London gets a bit more because it's so expensive to live there, but otherwise all the same, yeah. What's the most common injury or illness? Well, at the moment I think I've got COVID. In which case, our advice is that you need to go and get a test through Test and Trace and not come to hospital, and then we send them away. But before that, probably the most common line is I can't get to see my GP, and so I've come here instead. Because A&E doesn't shut. Everywhere else shuts. They have appointments or they have closing times. A&E doesn't, so if you want to see a doctor, you can come to A&E and you'll see a doctor, or a nurse practitioner, but certainly a clinician who can offer you some advice about whatever it is you have. We also see a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily think we see. So I see a lot of elderly patients that just aren't safe at home. They might have fallen over, they might have a bit of a chest infection or a bit of a urine infection or be a bit confused. loads and loads of reasons. They're just not safe to be at home anymore, and so they come to hospital because there's nowhere else for them to go, which is a bit of a shame, and the press don't really report on that. But the social care aspect of society isn't as good as it used to be, and isn't as good as it should be. And so that's mainly what we see, especially on an evening time or at a weekend. But if I had to pick a presenting complaint, it'd probably be chest pain. We see loads and loads of people with chest pain because everyone is worried it's a heart attack, which is understandable, but the majority of the time it isn't. It's something very simple usually, and most people go home and are absolutely fine. Would I recommend this job to anyone else? Absolutely. I love going to work. I love going to work every day. And to me, that's the most important thing. Whether you like it or not, you spend a lot of your life at work. It's most of your working week, it's most of your waking hours, and so you have to love your job. And I love my job.